Hey kids, it's time to get some SML podcast all up in that.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML podcast. I am your host, Joe. Joining as usual, Cole. How are you doing?
I'm not dead.
Which is good.
Yeah, I mean, depending on who you are.
Some people are disappointed.
Why is this fuckstick still quiet? I can't even argue with him properly because he sounds like he's on the moon.
That's still not far away enough from being.
Nice fumble on the joke.
Right? Fucking sailfish.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Jacob's here. Aki's here. How's everyone doing?
I'm here. I'm caffeinated. And
I've been gaming all day. Except for not on my system, which makes me sad.
No achievements for you.
No.
Speaking of achievements, I'm at 399,455.
Damn.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know what to finish that fucker off with so I can have 400,000.
Well, it's not going to be War Games because that's cloud-based.
No one knows what that game is, Jacob.
I don't know what that game is.
Yeah, well, it got delisted like a year ago.
Yeah, so
That's
So mad.
it's very
Good.
relevant.
I enjoy when games you like get fucked.
Right up the pooper. You gotta get it right up the pooper. Yeah.
And Aki's just mumbling to herself over there.
Now she sounds like Tick. She's here.
See, it helps when you talk into the microphone, people.
Oh my god, is that how we do this?
Yeah.
I actually was. I just wasn't very loud.
Remember that time you sent Jacob a really expensive headset to review?
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that?
He was a dick.
We moved and we can't find the Apple iPhone cord.
Fucking buy one.
Yeah, it's not exactly.
Didn't we have this conversation last
We
week?
did.
Yes,
Yeah, we
and
did.
it said it
They're
cost
$10.
Yeah, fucking lazy bum. Just spend $10.
Come up,
Jesus
get
Christ.
your games, and I'll give you my spare one if I have to.
You do.
I know I do, you
Lazy
penis.
shit.
Damn, even hockey's getting in on it.
And she doesn't
Well,
get
I
it on
mean-
with men that often, so.
Ah.
No, not at all. No.
Oh my god, this show's a train wreck. Big news of the week. There were apparently some game consoles that came out this week. Did you guys hear that?
Oh,
I think it was like the Atari 2600 or something.
Yeah, the Atari launched.
Even more
FM
men.
Towns Marty.
Combat is a big launch title. 2 tanks that shoot each other.
okay.
Pretty baller.
And next week the Wonder Swan comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
we've listed enough
PS5 and Xbox Series X and S all launched this week. I take it I'm the only one who got one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, still.
Yeah.
Yep, son of a bitch.
I'll get
wish.
when they come up with the thin version of it, then I'll get it.
That's the Series S.
Excuse me.
Well, they'll
Sorry.
make a more powerful disc one that has that's thinner too. Eventually,
That'll be a mid-gen refresh, though. That won't be for like 3 years.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's probably when I'll get mine.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping to get an Xbox Series X in the spring.
The spring that far away.
Yeah, I'm just going to give it a bit and stuff. I mean, remember, I've got kids and Christmas, so...
Yeah. I've got 2 kids with birthdays and Christmas in a sad sandwich of celebration.
Jeez.
It's it's number 3 and then Christmas and then 2 weeks later number 1.
Jesus.
You should
Stop fucking in March.
I was going to say, you should have played
David's
Sex Life
birthday's in
better.
April. What am I supposed
Oh
to say?
god, that does line up perfectly. Twice it happened.
I'm just saying, you gotta celebrate.
Yeah, I'm still paying off the fucking work that was done on my house, so...
You're saying they're going to wait until mid-gen, and once they have a bigger SSD, yes, I absolutely agree on that. This 1 terabyte thing, remember how I said it wasn't going to work? Guess what? It doesn't work.
Oh,
It doesn't shock me.
I have, I think, 20 games installed, and that's it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And there's some indies in that lineup, too.
I figured all but one of them was indie, because one of them is Rock Band and takes up like half of your fucking...
Yeah, Rock Band is included in there, so that's 100 gig right off the bat. But the load times in Rock Band, holy shit. The load times, like, people are saying, oh, graphically it doesn't look that much impressive compared to the last generation. It's not going to. I mean, graphics can only look so good, but load times...
Excuse me, goodness.
Holy shit, the load times are so impressive.
I know Shiz was saying that the load times were the only reason he bought it. And that's because, you know, as a streamer, having dead air is ass.
Yeah.
And not having that dead air in between playing for the load times was going to be a lifesaver for him.
Yeah, Dirt 5 to load into a race used to take about 30, 40 seconds. It takes maybe 5.
I have to laugh though, because I've been making the joke for like the last week that they all load so fast that the tips on the loading screens, nobody's going to know how to play the games anymore.
Yep.
You say that, but honestly, that's usually where I learned how to play the games.
I know, and that's me too. Like with the Division, there were so many tips and tricks that I knew just from reading the loading screens, and then like you'd play with somebody new, and you'd be like, they see you do something, they go, how'd you do that so fast? I'd be like, it's just this button press. And they'd be like, I didn't ever read the loading screens. That's your fault.
Yeah, the last person that you had that issue with was me.
Yeah. And now nobody can read the loading screens, and we're all fucked.
It's going to be idiots who can't play games, which is our show.
I was about to say, so it's me.
Yeah.
Cole, this reminds me, we need to play The Division sometime soon.
Yeah.
Because I do have that installed on this Xbox.
I'd actually have to reinstall it. I uninstalled it recently because David installed Watch Dogs Legion. So,
is that any good? I don't know. I
haven't played it. I haven't played it, but
I put like an hour into it so far. It's an open world action game so far. So if you
liked the other ones at all, you're going to be really happy with Legion.
Oh, good.
Because it just like cranks it to 11.
Nice. I'm happy now.
Yeah, like David loved the first two, and I always mocked him. I was like, nobody else ever says a good thing about Watch Dogs but you. And then I
loved both of them.
On the other hand, he also loves Farming Simulator, so maybe his taste in games is off. But
yeah, he's a little weird.
You know, he's got 400 hours in American Trucking Simulator. So
what the fuck is wrong with him? Why doesn't he just go drive a truck for a job? That'd be then he could get paid to do that shit.
Yeah, but he can't bear to be away from me because I'm broken. So
yeah.
So
well, you have kids that you can make do all that stuff.
What are they going? Like they can't help me.
They're going to point and laugh.
Yeah, they can't.
Well, get all three of them to help you at once. You'll be fine.
Yeah, why else would you have kids and make them be servants?
Exactly. Children is just free slave labor.
They do a lot of the other stuff around the house, to be fair.
See, exactly.
Well,
but
you know, once they get older, they're supposed to be taking on more responsibility. So chop with that.
Yeah, just start making them lift weights. You'll be fine. They'll help you get up easy.
I'm not making anybody pick up their mom to put her in the tub. And there have been times where David said to do that. So, I mean, there's good reason why he doesn't just go.
The SML sad cast.
Yeah, I'm broken as fuck, by the way.
Most of us are. It's fine.
I'm broken on the inside.
We're all broken on the inside. It's fine.
I'm not. I'm fucking chipper as shit, and I'm the one that can't move out of my chair.
Yeah, but you're also always high, so that's not fair.
Me too. No.
have a feeling if you weren't always high as a kite, you probably wouldn't be so chipper. Just a guess.
That's fair.
I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I've always been this way. It's disgusting.
Oh, no.
I am so unbelievably just joyful. It's gross.
Yeah, we can't have that shit on this show.
It's gross.
No. I'd rather depression than that.
Let's talk about more miserable stuff instead. I didn't get a PlayStation.
Oh, well,
Okay.
I didn't either.
got over that real quick.
I'm still hoping to pick one up. Like, I want to play Sackboy. I thought that game looked really good. I want to see how good the DualShock 5 is. Everyone's saying that it is like a fantastic controller, even if you've hated DualShocks in the past. The new controller is apparently really good. So maybe it'll change my mind and I'll be content using a PlayStation controller for a bit.
I read something somewhere that either a PlayStation 3 controller worked in the 5 or a PlayStation 5 controller worked in the 3. I don't remember which, and it made me laugh.
I haven't heard anything about that.
What was that?
I don't know. I heard
Something
it,
on
but I don't
Aki's
know what it
end.
was. The highlight to today for me was the fact that there weren't any PlayStations in stores. And, like, my mom's groups were just blowing up with all these moms that were like, I gotta go pick up a PlayStation. I'm like, you ain't getting that shit at Target. And they were like, well, at least I get to go to Target and get some Starbucks and get out of the house for a little bit. I'm like, you coming home without a PlayStation, though? Every fucking one of them just thought they were gonna waltz right out there. And I'm like, no. No, you're not.
There you go. Now you've heard that the PS5 controller works on the PS3 just fine.
Oh, you're linking things in not in Twitch chat. Why? You should be linking in Twitch chat so people could keep up to.
Don't ask
Hey,
Aki
what
to
the hell
do
you
technical
doing?
things.
There you go.
I guess I can give it to these people. God.
Well,
These people, racist.
No, because I hate everyone equally. It's fine.
Yeah, it's true. You know what? None of us hate
Hot chicks.
Game Pass.
Oh, well, that too, I guess.
I mean, I hate the price. I mean, I hate having.
Yeah,
to pay
the
for it.
price is terrible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, $10 a month is just awful. You guys are out of
For
your
what?
minds.
It is.
For Game
$10 a month for what? Oh,
Game
for
Pass.
it.
Cole's not
Fuck
even paying
both of ya.
attention. What the fuck?
No,
doesn't pay attention.
I was looking at the link. You said a link.
I didn't send a link.
Well, the link
Aki's
got
fucking
sent.
things up.
Oh my god.
Hey, you're the one who told me to post it, okay? Deal
I
with
don't
it.
know if you guys are aware of this about me, but I have like an uncontrollable urge to click every link I see. This leads to a lot of shit on the internet. And so I know a lot of things I should know. But like the moment I see a link, I'm like, oh, let's go see where that goes because I can have 742 tabs open, so why not?
So, in other words, you're the rotten burgundy of links.
Barney's just trying to find a porn link. Something tells me he doesn't have to work too hard to find that. He's probably just got it in one of his 742 tabs. That's what people do.
Cole,
Is
you
it me
should
or is
check out
Cole
the Lemon
breaking up a
Party.
bit?
She's breaking up a bit, yeah.
You're breaking up a bit. No,
There we
everybody's
go.
fine. I don't know what it is. That's weird.
Ow.
It's got to be a wonky.
I don't know. Maybe maybe your microphone is just getting scared of you getting overexcited.
Don't say bad things about my microphone. My little $30 microphone is better than what everybody else on the podcast except you has.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you
Hey, mine's pretty good.
yeah, but you don't use it right, so it don't matter.
Mine's good when
What do you mean I don't
which
use
is
it
like a year
right?
ago.
I speak into it.
No, she don't use it right, does she?
How do I
I'm
not
staying
use
out of
it?
this.
I speak
Chris,
into it.
Chris knows what he's doing. I'll just say that because Chris has a good mic.
Okay.
Jacob
I have
just needs the
fantastic
goddamn
mic.
cord for his headset.
I'm lazy.
But
You dick.
he'd
And cheap.
lose it again. It's him.
So
All
yeah,
right.
Game Pass. I was saying there's some Game Pass trying to
Yeah, that's
steer
right.
steer the ship back to where we're going. Game Pass news. EA Play finally hit Game Pass this week, and then it came out. It will be hitting PC Game Pass on December 15th, and then a handful of EA Play titles are available on Game Pass for Android, including Madden 20, Unravel 2, Dragon Age Inquisition, Mass Effect Andromeda, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and The Sims 4.
Oh.
Dang.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
Some of those games are good.
Most of those games are good.
I didn't realize there was EA Play
Yeah.
for PC. Like, I probably forgot. Like, I knew I forgot. I'm just like, huh.
Yeah, I don't know what, like, I don't know if they're just going to make the Origin app, like, free for people. I don't know if they're going to port all their games over to Windows 10 for Game Pass. I don't know what they're doing with PC.
I thought Origin was going away.
I don't know.
Does this mean we will get stackable achievements for all these things?
Or wait,
maybe.
no, EA.
Spore!
You
I
know
have
what?
never
That's
played
right.
Spore. I know everybody like shit on it, but I've never played Spore.
Origin's not going away. They're just renaming it some crap. I
Origin
forget
is
what
just
now.
a launcher.
Yeah, I know, but they're just going away from the Origin name probably because
Yeah.
like
But
they're
it was,
not actually
well,
trying to work.
they were
Modern
two
with
different
past.
names. It was EA Access and then Origin Access, and they were like two separate situations. So now they're just merging them under EA Play.
That sounds like the smart idea to do.
Beholder and Beholder. I didn't even realize those were published by EA.
Now, there's a lot of stuff on
That
EA
isn't
Play
published by
for
EA.
PC.
Okay. Hold up.
EA
Look
Play
at
for
all these
PC is a lot
goodies.
like Game Pass in that they have a lot of third-party stuff. I just don't know if that's the stuff that's going to be free or if it's only going to be like select
Yeah, I don't
title.
know.
Like, I don't know how they're doing this. My guess is they're going to bring games to Windows 10 store, and those are the ones that are going to be free with EA Access or EA Play and Game Pass, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out on December 15th.
Well, there are some goodies on here that I would absolutely like to stack if they are stackable.
Fucking Rickroll. God damn it, Scotty.
Anyway, a new perk for Game Pass is hitting where Game Pass Ultimate people can get a 30-day trial to Disney Plus.
Oh, that's
A lot of people are bitching that it's not a permanent addition to the subscription. Like a 30-day free trial isn't something to shake a stick at.
It's a perk. It's like,
yeah.
how much do people want out of fucking Game Pass? Jesus
All of
Christ.
They want all of it.
Good Lord. Oh, well. Games came to Game Pass this week. A lot of games launched to Game Pass this week. November 9th, Gears Tactics finally launched on console and Android. November 10th, Destiny 2 Beyond Light hit Android and console. Planet Coaster Console Edition hit Android and console. Tetris Effect Connected hit console and PC. And then today on November 12th, we got Final Fantasy VIII on console and PC. Goner 2 on Android and Streets of Rogue on PC. Next week on the 17th, we're getting Ark Survival Evolved Explorers Edition on everything. Halo 4 is hitting the Master Chief Collection on PC. And then on the 19th, we're getting Star Renegades on Android and console and River City Girls on everything.
nice.
A lot of shit coming to Game Pass. Good stuff. Tetris Effect is amazing, by the way.
Yeah, I might have stayed up until 5:30 in the morning the other night playing it.
Good.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was worth it.
Yeah, it was.
100% worth it.
You playing online or just offline?
No, I beat the campaign. I beat the campaign once in easy and then went back and did it again in normal.
Nice.
Yeah.
I gotta learn T-spins. I am terrible at T-spins in Tetris, and that's like the big tactic you need to learn nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not
Is it
good at them either.
T-spin?
Like, I see it pop up and I
What-
go, don't know what
what's a
that is. And then
T-spin?
keep going.
A T-spin is when you take the T-piece and you spin it into an enclosed area that it would normally fit in, like if you were to drop it
Oh,
down
fuck
on
that.
top. It requires you to set up bricks in a way that you have to spin this piece in and connect it, and you'll do good.
I didn't realize
It's
there
a
was
rough
a name
tactic
for
to learn.
that.
Yeah.
That's different. I thought it was something else. Like, I wasn't sure what it was, but I thought it was something else.
Nope.
Because I do
T-spin.
that
So-
shit all the time.
Hold on. All right, like, because Joe's explaining this. All right, so let me get this straight. So, like, you're essentially spinning it at the last second into a spot that would fit in, but would be very hard to fit it into. Correct?
No, it would be able. Think of it as though a T is upside down, like a capital T is upside down.
Okay.
Now, on the two pieces that stick out above that, there's pieces right above that. So you turn it so it can get in there. Otherwise, it won't actually fit.
Straight drop it in.
Just Google T-spin and look up videos, because trying to explain it is damn near impossible. You have to spin a T piece into a hard to, normally impossible to reach spot. It's complex. It's weird to set up. I'm not good at it, so trying to explain it is even worse. But Jacob, news that you're excited about: Mass Effect Legendary Edition was officially finally announced for Xbox, PS4, and PC for spring 2021.
Yeah, I'm going to get it, but as the Bob's Burger gif, I'm going to complain the whole time.
Why?
Because it's just like, first off, BioWare has said that like all it is going to be is a graphical improvement, and I think they're going to like fix a couple bugs here and there, but otherwise it's just, that's all it is. And so Mass Effect's clunky, I mean, at this point, the original Mass Effect's combat, which is at this point is clunky, it's still going to be clunky. And
I love the games in it, though. The guns in it were fantastic.
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean, I still prefer 2 over 1, but yeah, I don't know. It's just, as I've said plenty of times, I'd rather have Mass Effect Andromeda 2 than a remastered trilogy. Like,
how dare you?
Yeah, no, and if for more on Jacob's hot takes, Andromeda is the second best game in the Mass Effect series once it got all patched up and shit like that.
Who fucking hurt you?
Nobody.
I fucking disagree with that fully. What the hell is wrong with you?
I mean, you're allowed to have your opinions, man. But like, it did more for me than Mass Effect 1, and definitely more than 3. Like, as I said, I'd rather have the story be complete than just left off, to be finished in novels and comics that nobody's ever going to read, except by people nerdier than me. So
I have all the books.
Well,
I also have the Halo books.
Have you read them?
No, I haven't bothered to yet, but I have more.
Reading.
All right, that's fair.
I can't read for long periods of time. It stresses my eyes too much.
I used to, and then I became an English major, and that killed reading.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. I mean, I'm just like, yeah, I'll buy it. Whatever. Here's what I'm curious about, and I wish that they would include. I wish they would include those like little iPhone games that came out for 2 and 3.
That'd be cool.
Because both of those had effect on 2 and 3. I mean, you got extra dialogue options if you completed that little Jacob mini backstory game. And then in 3, it helped, with your war rally and stuff like that. Now they did say that multiplayer isn't going to be a factor in the 3. So I'm kind of curious as to how that's going to affect, your war rally and stuff like that. But whatever. Yeah, I'll play it. And of course they also nestled in that, there's also going to be another Mass Effect game coming, but okay.
That'll be your Andromeda 2, probably.
No, it won't. I guarantee it won't.
I'd be fine with it either way.
I mean, I really want it to be Andromeda 2, but I really don't think it's going to be. I think it's either just going to be a brand new story, or BioWare is going to do the dumb thing and go back to being safe with Shepard. I
hope that, as much as I love Shepard, I hope they don't go back to Shepard.
I really hope so. I really hope that they don't either, because part of what I love about Mass Effect Andromeda is that, it took a lot of balls with the story to go the route that they did. And, I just, there was negative reception with it, but I think they should have, seen it through. But
yeah, I think the biggest issue with Andromeda was other than all the bugs that were in it when it first came out, which is meh, I don't really care about that, is that everyone treated Ryder like Ryder was a fucking invalid, even though Ryder was the leader of the group. No one treated Ryder like that. Ryder did not command any respect whatsoever. And I think that's where a lot of people lost it. I think that's where it fell so short, because Commander Shepard walked into a room and people fucking listened to him. Ryder, they made fun of. And it was just like, I am the leader, you guys. What the hell? Be nice. Do what I tell you. And maybe.
Yeah, but at the same time, Shepard was already in N7 and then gets turned into a human Spectre pretty quickly into the story. And so it's he already has the rank. Part of Ryder's story is being unproven and living with the guilt of their father saving the kid. So it's just I think Ryder would have commanded a lot of respect in Andromeda 2 and 3, which we don't get, and of course we don't get the character arc with it. So it's like,
as long as we have another Hadasari, I'm fine.
Shut up about Mass Effect.
Amen. Yeah, I'm in a Mass Effect shitposting group, and like the day that they announced like the remaster, everyone was just like, "Oh man, imagine Miranda in 4K," and everyone's just like, "Oh yeah,
oh Jesus."
Miranda is a Yara.
Anyway, they are going to be remasters, not remakes, so you could expect better resolution and frame rate, better textures and shaders, but that's about it. And then they said that it will include the first 3 games with all single-player content and promotional items.
So does that include the Dr. Pepper
possibly
DLC? Like, I was kind of curious about that.
It says all promotional items, so
it better.
The Dragon Age armor was.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot about that too.
Did you turn into Randy Savage for a minute? Ooh, yeah.
Oh yeah!
Let me tell you something. Deathloop.
Okay, all I know is if by some miracle we get this remaster, I want it. I want to review it.
Oh God, we're not getting into this. Deathloop will release May 21st, 2021 on PS5 and PC. Still no word on an Xbox release, but given it's gonna be owned by Microsoft, I'm sure it's just around the corner.
Yep.
Damn it, I was gonna do a Macho Man Randy Savage impression for Mass Effect.
No, we're done with Mass Effect.
We're never done with Mass Effect.
Little Batarian, the only way you're getting out of this airlock is if I throw you out of this airlock. Oh yeah!
Final bit of news I have is that Minecraft Dungeons is finally getting cross-play on November 17th for Xbox, Switch, PS4, and Windows. So, yay! Chris and I can finally play together.
Hooray! Now my kids.
Oh, Cole, you're still here.
Yeah, I took a nap while y'all were talking about Mass Effect. My kids can finally play Minecraft together without like somebody getting mad that they have to split screen with the other. Because we had limited amount of consoles, but we have lots of PCs.
So yeah, crossplay finally happening. But that's the news I have. Any news any of y'all want to talk about?
No.
No, nothing.
Nah, I forgot. I forgot to look at everything I've uploaded to Facebook. Oh well.
God. Cole, anything on your end?
No, I'm good.
Are we just diving into reviews then?
Yep.
Might as well.
All right, first game to talk about tonight is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, developed by Stellar Entertainment Limited and Criterion, published by Electronic Arts, released November 6th on Xbox One, PS4, and PC for $39.99, November 13th on the Switch. Feel the thrill of the chase and the rush of escape behind the wheels of the world's hottest high-performance cars in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. Unleash a brutal sense of speed and heart-pumping, socially competitive racing experience. Jacob, tell us about Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered.
You know, I honestly forgot what a fun game this was back in the day. I mean, and it's also, holy crap, been 10 years since it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I totally forgot about that. But yeah, Hot Pursuit was such a solid racer back in the day, and it was just so no frills. Like, it was just, you know, it's not like Forza where it's trying to be realistic. I mean, you get plenty of real cars and stuff like that, but it was just a fun arcadey racer where, you know, you're either, you know, being the outlaw, quote unquote, where you're competing in a bunch of street races and stuff like that, or you play as the police, which that was tons of fun chasing after, you know, the racers and stuff like that. So, it's not so much like an open world thing, but like you're given all these different areas on the map of this area where you're going to be able to race around, and you're either given the option of doing an outlaw thing or the police. And you just do all these events. Now, some of like the areas that you have to go into, they make you do these like little preview things, which are essentially like a glorified time trial. You know, so you can get your rewards and stuff like that. But as much as the pain in the butt is with the time trial, it's also kind of handy because it does actually preview the area for you before it, you know, before you actually get to do the real meat of that area. And so, you know, if you're doing the street races, you know, you just win your street races while also avoiding the cops, but also, you know, try to be number one. And stuff like that. Being the police is honestly, that's where I had the most fun, because you're just trying to stop all of these street races and stuff like that. You gain more points, you unlock more cars on both sides. And, you know, as you're going up with the police, you know, you get more stuff to do. You can put down roadblocks, you can put down spike strips, all which help you. And it's just a lot of fun. Now, I will say this, you know, it's a remaster. I think all they did is just, you know, pretty up the graphics, and it really looks freaking gorgeous. With that, the only issue that I had with the graphics is, and I don't remember this being an issue on the old Xbox 360 thing, but again, it's also been 10 years, so bear with me. But the police lights, you know, if you have a history of epilepsy, I don't know if I'd recommend playing as the police, because holy shit, like the lights they are something else, and my god, they are freaking distracting, and they are constantly flashing, and I couldn't find like any way to like turn them off. So that's something to keep in mind. When I was playing as the police, I actually had to change out my camera, because usually I just play from, you know, the standard like third person view.
Yeah.
I ended up having to do first person, you know, just looking like on the hood of the car, just so
clicking the analog sticks didn't do anything.
He didn't try that, I guess.
I didn't try that. Does
that actually work?
I don't know. I'm not near my Xbox One to try it right now.
I'm gonna guess that, because they usually have shit like that, like horns or turning lights off and stuff like that on the clicks.
I don't think I did. I think I tried it, but I don't think it did. Damn it. God damn it.
I'm gonna guess you did, and
shut up.
I should fire up the game and find out. Like, I haven't played it yet myself. I watched a buddy Zombies of mine play it. It looked really, really good.
It is pretty. It is super pretty. And I'll be honest, it plays like a dream. Like, you know, it's, as I said, it's not like it's an arcadey racer. Like, it's not trying to be realistic. Mm-hmm. Thank God, you know, like one crash doesn't screw up your whole entire race. But, you know, part of the fun of it is that you're dodging in and out of traffic, you know, so you're trying to chase or avoid the police while you're also trying to avoid people who are just going about their day. In the town and stuff like that. And it's just, it looks so pretty. It is so good. Like, honestly, like, I was really impressed with this, and I was really glad that they actually took the time for this. Because part of my thing with Hot Pursuit, and I was telling Joe about this, is that it's just like, I remember playing it back in the day, and I played it like for a good like week or two, and then it's just, there was other stuff that came out, and I'm wondering if that happened with everybody else, you know, and it was just like this one kind of got lost in the shuffle, and then EA was just like, 10th anniversary is coming up. This was a really solid game. Let's re-release it. Because honestly, like, you know, this game definitely deserved a comeback and a new fresh coat of paint. So yeah, I was really pleased with it.
Cool. So $40 on it. What do you think of it?
$40, definitely recommend it. It's a solid as I said, it's a solid arcade racer. You know, it looks beautiful, plays great. Honestly, the police lights were my only complaint on it. And that may be a feature where I was too dumb to figure out how to get rid of it.
Very possible. So, you being dumb is definitely a possibility.
You do have to take that into regard with my reviews. Oh, Jacob said something negative about it. He's an idiot, so...
All right. Well, I guess that is it for you. You going to stick around or are you heading out?
No, he's leaving.
Yeah, I got some Yakuza Like a Dragon to play, so I finally have to fire that game up.
Nice.
So glad I pre-ordered it so I couldn't play it for the first 2 days it's been out.
Hey, that's how games are these days. You have any final words?
Nah, I don't care enough.
All right, peace out. Next game to talk about is 13, developed by PlayMagic, published by Microids, released November 10th on Xbox One, PS4, and PC for $49.99. You play as 13, a man without identity in a solo campaign with numerous twists and turns. Inspired by the eponymous graphic novel, the game features a completely reinvented and unique cel-shading design. Aki, tell us about 13.
Well, if you like the original, you're probably going to like this as long as you're not too attached to the graphical look, which is the big thing everyone's been complaining about. It plays mostly the same. You do miss out on some things. It's a first-person shooting game, basically. It's an FPS. There you go. Simple. You play as a dude named 13. He has amnesia, and he's working with the government to take down this cabal of bad guys as he slowly gets his memory back. That's really it, unless you want to go into spoiler territory.
Yeah, no spoilers.
It's a pretty basic concept. You are a good guy. You shoot bad guys. And occasionally knock out some other good guys, because originally they think you are a bad guy.
That sounds kind of spoilery.
I mean, that's the very beginning of the game. Okay.
Hearing, I've heard a lot of mixed with this remaster. Tell us what all did they do with this game?
Okay, it seems like obviously they've clearly changed the graphics to the game. Originally, it was it's a game from over a decade ago, I think. So it was old, but it looked more comic book style, and all the transitions were pure comic book. All panels and stuff, characters would move in the panels and the like. You've seen that in a few games that have come out more recently, even. They've done away with most of that. Graphically, it doesn't look anything like the original. Lots of people are comparing it to Fortnite, which I can kind of understand. It's more detailed than it used to be because it's on better hardware, and it's gotten better coloring to it. It looks more realistic, not super realistic. After all, it's not The Last of Us Part 2. So yeah, but it does have a dark. The darks are dark. Wood looks like wood. It's nice graphically, but it doesn't have that comic book style at all anymore. They completely removed that, which is sad. I understand why people don't like it because of that. I would have personally liked it more if they had kept with more comic book, even if they had done more cel shading just to make it look more stylized. I think would have made it a lot closer. They've gotten rid of most of the transitions that look like comic books. There are a few times where that pops up, but most of it is just cutscenes now, which is a shame. They've changed how some things play out a little bit. Some of the cutscenes have been changed a little bit with how characters interact and the like, but it still has the same feel to them. So it's not like, oh, this is completely different. It's just, oh, this is slightly different instead. And they're great. And the combat has changed a little bit. Originally, the game had more of a Nintendo 64's GoldenEye or whatever the hell it was, that famous 007 game on the N64. It had a similar shooting style to that. You could aim around, but when you got closer to enemies, it would pull towards them real hard, and it would just kind of shoot at random, unless you turned aim assist off. I think you could in that. This game, it doesn't have that. It also used to highlight stuff with red boxes around things that you could pick up that were important, and at enemies that you were aiming at, just so you could see them better. They've gotten rid of that, which is kind of sad because it makes it hard to pick up some of the keys that fall from enemies, because they're real fucking small. But otherwise, it's generally the same game. It's just been improved. The more realistic lighting and stuff can make some rooms harder to see in, because now when it's dark in a room, it's actually dark instead of slightly red, which is what the original did. For dark rooms, they tended to be just a bit red instead of actually darker, which was great. It made it easier to see things. Now it's harder to see stuff in darker rooms, but that's how it should be. So, that's really, I feel like, the majority of the changes to it, honestly. I don't think the audio has been changed at all. Everyone sounds the same to me, but then again,
on the Steam page it says that they use the original music and voices.
Okay, I thought they did. I was like, these sound the same, but I haven't played the original in forever.
And the original was 2003, so if you want to feel old, original 13 released in 2003.
Jesus. Thank you. I feel old. Fuck you.
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I like the game. I thought it was fun. There were I had some complaints about the game, mostly that some things were just hard to find because, again, the things you have to pick up are small sometimes. Some of the collectibles are a bitch to get to such a point that I haven't been able to find them all, which is weird for me because usually I collect all of them on my first playthrough. For most games, I usually find collectibles fairly easily, and if I don't find them all, I've gotten most of them. I've gotten about half, which is far below my usual. Usually I get all but like one or two, and it's upsetting. I want them so bad. There's like 7, 8 achievements for collectibles. And there's just 2 different types of collectibles. There's dossiers that you can pick up and statues that just show artwork, basically, in the game. Some of them are weapons, some of them are characters and the like. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of levels in this. There's like 25, I think, something like that. Steam
says 34.
Oof, okay. Then 34. I don't think they changed any of the levels at all. So you still have the exact same levels in the exact same order. And yeah, I really enjoyed my time with it. I thought it was fun. I don't know why people are hating on it so much, because all I've seen is hate for it.
Yeah, it's like, getting a lot of negativity. Game. I haven't played it myself yet, but I picked up the collector edition because I have to. I feel like it's a legal requirement to get collector's editions anymore. It's, if you're interested in it, it is $59.99. It includes a metal case, some art cards with it, and golden weapon skins for the game.
Oh, I thought that was a pre-order only bonus.
And it's in the collector edition, or the special edition, whatever you want to call it. But $50 on this one. What do you think about it?
I'm totally for it. This game takes a while to beat, especially if you're trying to collect everything. Just be worried right now, there are some graphical glitches. Namely that there's lens flare when you have weapons that zoom. When you look towards light sources, sometimes that lens flare just decides to stay on the screen forever. So you always see this little square of light. Like, you can turn away from it because it's stuck in space in this certain area, in this one position. Like, if you're facing north, it might be in the upper right-hand corner. You can face any other direction, but anytime you face north, it will always be there. And that is kind of infuriating, because it just sticks there. It might stick there for levels, which is what happened to me. But that was really the only issue I had with the game, glitch-wise, really. It's a pretty good game. I'm totally for it. I can't wait until they get a patch just to iron out the last few kinks in it.
Cool. All right, well, that's it for you. Are you sticking around, or are you heading out?
I'll go ahead and head out. Let Cole have her whole spotlight. I know she wants it.
Get out of here. My show.
Told you the bitch wanted it.
All right, well, do you have any final words?
Tifa's tatas. There we go. See you later.
Okay, next game to talk about is Amnesia Rebirth, developed and published by Frictional Games, released October 20th on PS4 and PC for $29.99. Amnesia Rebirth is a new descent into darkness from the creators of the iconic Amnesia series. Set in the desolate landscape of the Algerian desert, the game will focus on new characters Tassi?
Yeah, Tassi.
There's a red squiggly line under it, so I couldn't tell if it was an I or a J.
Yeah.
Tassi, as she sets out on a harrowing journey through devastation and despair, personal terror and pain, while exploring the limits of human resilience. Paul, tell us about Amnesia Rebirth.
Let's just back up to where the summary said that you're descending into darkness. There has never been a truer fucking statement about the game ever. This is the darkest shit I have ever played, and it just loves it because your character is fucking afraid of the dark. So I don't get scared much. I know that Aki likes to say I'm chicken shit, but I kind of just play it up a little bit for the sake of the review to make it interesting and think that, yeah, you know, people other than me might be genuinely scared.
Yeah.
But I am actually afraid of the dark. I live in the woods, and there are things in the woods in the dark that will eat you. So I am genuinely afraid of the dark. So a whole game where you are literally crawling around, spelunking in these tiny, dark-ass caves. I don't care if it's in the middle of the fucking desert. It still hits a little close to home to me. Tassi and her husband Salim are part of an expedition that find themselves on a plane that crashes. That sucks, and that's a pretty shitty way to start a game. But this is how you get to the point of starting the game with Amnesia, because that's the premise of all the Amnesia games. You start them with no fucking clue who you are, what you're doing, and why, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in true walk exploration horror manner, you need to follow the breadcrumbs. I can't say breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs with clues, and jog your memory. Remember who you are. Remember why you're out there. Remember where you were going, and everything else about you. You need to recover from your amnesia, essentially. When you awaken on the plane, you are alone. You do see the whole plane crash go down, but when you wake up, you are alone on the plane, and there's nobody else around. There's no bodies. There's no people. You are just fucking confused. But there's a voice on the radio. Of course, the plane is so fucked up that you can't actually answer them back, but this leads you to the decision that you should go out and try to find Salim and the rest of your expedition. Unfortunately, you're in the desert with fucking nothing. Literally nothing. So the first thing that the game will torment you with the sunlight is don't be in the sun because it's unhealthy for you. So you have to stay in the shade. That's just training wheels for getting you used to being in the fucking dark all the time. Okay? Because your first trip to the Shade is going to make you run across a couple of graves, one of which has been dug up by a vulture who has pulled some entrails out of it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid start to how this game's going to go. Now, given that it's a walk exploration type of game, that means a lot of the fear element is typically just like in your head and how you're gonna psych yourself out in these different scenarios. Although there is something important to note about Tassie. She's fucking afraid too. And when she's in the dark for an extended period of time, that fear starts to creep in. And it will literally creep in as dark tendrils around the edge of the screen that gradually fill up the screen. If she loses her grip on sanity, then she'll have fear flashes, which are just hallucinations of really scary shit that will flash in your face constantly until you can get her to some light. There's a couple of quirks about the gameplay for this, because even though it's walk exploration-ish, you do have to like manage your resources. You start off with being able to find a couple of matches, and games have taught me that like you can walk around with a match and see where the fuck you're going. Not in Amnesia. Amnesia does not give a fuck if you've got a match. If you don't use that match to light a lantern or a candle, you're fucked. You just wasted it. You're SOL. Though initially the matches were crazy hard to find, and I spent a lot of time just like pressing forward in the dark and hoping I got where I was going. And thank goodness I am not one of those people who panics at jump scares. For all of my comments about fear pee, other people are definitely gonna fear pee. Right? Like, I'm just like, yep, that's a face jumping out at me right there. And thank goodness for it, because otherwise I would just be like, the whole thing, and just had to shut it down and not be able to play. There are some important things to note. When the game was originally given to me, those fear flashes were harsh. I mean, if you have any kind of like seizures, epilepsy, or sensitivity to flashing lights, know that before you consider this game. Because it will definitely fuck you up in that regard. They have toned down with the last patch how overwhelming those fear flashes are. So they're not quite as daunting as they were. They lose a little bit of their punch at the same time. Like, if you don't have your gamma set right, you can be like, was that a hallucination, or or am I just like seeing things in the blur expecting a hallucination? But if you've got your settings set right, then you're like, nope, that's a big blue face and it's coming at me. Man, I need to complain about one thing, but I'm trying to figure out how I can do it without... I guess since it happens early, it's not particularly a spoiler, right?
I don't know. You played it.
I know, but like if something... Okay, fine. Fuck. Early on, and if this may be a spoiler, if you want to not know anything about the game beyond the initial shit at the beginning, turn me off right now. That's your warning. Come back in 3 minutes. But one of the initial gameplay elements is that you discover early on that Tassie is pregnant. And a lot of the early elements and fear elements is like referring to how her and Salim are going to get back to their daughter Alice. But then you discover that she's not just worried about getting back to Alice. She actually, because she has amnesia, I don't know what makes her not think to look down to her stomach while she's crawling around in caves, or what, how she didn't hit that fucker on a cave or something. How she got through some of those tiny holes, given that she was knocked up. I don't know, but here we are. But one of the things that kind of bugged me was that one of her calm down mechanics was to put her hands on her belly and, quote, check the baby, right?
Okay.
And when you would do this, then you would get to hear like a fetal heartbeat and you get some vibrations in your controller. You can't hear a baby's heartbeat just by touching your stomach. I've been pregnant a few times. I'm pretty aware of this. That just kind of, every time I did it, I was like, that's not how that works. And I would get so frustrated with it.
You find the weirdest shit to gripe about in games.
But I was like, you know what, though? I actually went looking for other reviews to make sure I wasn't the only person that thought that was just odd. And I wasn't. So thank you very much. But it's just such an odd, like, I get you're worried about your kid, but I don't know that's a soothing thing. I don't know. It bugged me. It was just felt off. And also the fact that it's used as your soothing mechanic. So you had to rely on doing it a lot, right? If you 90% of the game is in the dark and she freaks the fuck out if she's in the dark. You don't ever have enough matches to get through anything. You're always out of lantern oil because it's a horror game and resource scarcity exists. So your next best mechanic is stop everything and hold your stomach. And it was just kind of, I don't know, it pulled you out in a weird way and it just seemed like maybe there could have been something a little better.
Well, your weirdo gripe aside, $30 on this one. What do you think?
I think beyond the whole, she's pregnant and, hold your belly element, it was really cool. It's absolutely gorgeous. Like the appearances of the first 3 Amnesia games, this is the 4th one, and holy fuck. Anyway, the other Amnesia games, like, visually bugged me because they felt like they were relying on being dark and stuff to give you that creepy element without actually giving you any substance for it being dark to be creepy. Whereas Amnesia Rebirth is a genuinely good looking game and it's not afraid to show you, hey, look, we made this world and it's really fucking cool, and letting you see it while still relying on the dark to make it creepy. And I thought that was a really well done technique for making it scary without just being like, oh, well, guess you can't see anything, because when you light shit up, you're like, yep, that was scary. Never mind. Still scary, even in the light. And I can definitely appreciate that. So I think it's a little odd. I can't get into spoiler shit on some of the other stuff as to why the birth mechanic bothered me. One other thing I'd like to point out that was really cool about it is that they have a stories mode, and using Steam Workshop, people can upload their own stories to Rebirth for people to play through.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
It's essentially like a mod setup, so that you can mod the game and tell entirely new experiences with it. And I think that is going to be pretty fucking awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next game to talk about is Memoranda, developed by Byterz, published by Carbon Fire Studio, released November 6th on Xbox One and Switch for $14.99. A point-and-click adventure game with magic realism elements that tells the story of a young woman who gradually realizes that she is forgetting her own name. Is she really losing her memory, or is there something else that could explain the strange situation? Oh, tell us about it.
It's apparently Amnesia Night. But yeah, I can't remember the name of the short story author. Son of a bitch. I can't pronounce it, rather. I can remember it, like, I can see it in my head, but I can't pronounce that shit. But anyway, this is a game based on a series of short stories about a young woman who has amnesia, but only very specific amnesia, and she can't remember her name. She can remember pretty much everything else, though. She knows where she lives. She knows how to get around the town. She knows her home. She knows the people in her building. Although, oddly enough, they all, like, she knows Jack specifically, which is the landlord dude. And Jack's all well and good, but, like, everybody else is just, like, the runaway woman or the Mr. Spaghetti Man, and they all have like odd ways for her to reference them, but she manages to keep up and know who is who. She's also cat sitting. The fact that she's cat sitting and you never get any resolution for the cat she's cat sitting is still like bugging me days later. She's like, you're going to be picked up in a couple of days, and it doesn't happen. I don't understand. You don't ever find out. Did they pick up the cat? Was everything okay? I don't know, because the ending just completely goes off into left field, and I have no explanation for how this game ends, because at one point you're just like, this is a young lady who doesn't remember her name, and the next point you've got a magical camera that can take pictures of human animals, and you can see people who are humans in their animal form, and you can see anthropomorphic animals in human form. It's very weird.
What?
It's very weird. I promise all that made sense in the context of the game. You weren't ready for any of it, were you?
None of it.
I promise you. This is where that game goes. I was fully expecting like a woman walking around town looking for like little memento type post-it notes to remember shit by. And no, like there's full on, there's a magical frog army, and then there's a super frog, and you gotta lure him out, but you can't use the magic jar to catch the flies. You gotta use the propane jar to catch the flies so that they smell bad, so that the frog will want them more. I don't understand what happened here.
This sounds like a weird one.
I have been processing this game for days. I beat it in like 1K, complete completion, in like 2.5, 3 hours. I don't even remember how long it took me. It was like a short blip in an afternoon. And every now and then I just stop and go, what happened to the monkey though? I'm not sure. What if Phil the elephant decides he wants to become a human, but then he doesn't have the potion anymore because they gave it to somebody else? And I don't know that how I'm going to explain any of this and make any sense to anybody that hasn't played the goddamn game. So, like, you ever play a game and like the whole time I'm playing, I'm like, how am I supposed to tell people about this? That was my experience with Memoranda. And yet I loved it. Like, if you've ever played anything like Little Misfortune or Frambo, Kill Monday, you could have told me this was a Kill Monday game and I would have believed it. It's definitely got that, not quite as the same level of dark humor, but that quirky, cartoonish, just unusual, nothing makes sense in this universe type of point and click. I can't speak. Point and click gameplay as those kind of games have. I will say that does lead to a problem. Some of these solutions for these puzzles in this game, never in a million years would I have figured out if I hadn't have found a guide. I spent forever trying to figure out how to catch a kidney stone that floats on a keychain outside the door of my apartment, because I'd catch it and I'd come back and I'd be there again and I'd be like, what the fuck? It was just in my inventory and now it's back up here, and I thought it was glitched. But no, you have to get a film reel, take the film out, and capture the floating keychain kidney stone in a film reel box.
I didn't understand 90% of this review, so I'm just going to ask you $15. What do you think of it?
I think it's great, and I think you should buy it. It's so odd that it's just charming. I figured I was going to like it, but for a game to stick with me the way that this one has, that's special, and that's definitely my kind of point and click. Even though I thought the puzzle solutions were a little obtuse, it just made so much sense for them to be obtuse in this universe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I just realized I never asked you if you dabbled in 13 or not.
I didn't. I was hoping you'd forget to ask me. And I was doing good, too.
Anyway, Evergate, developed by Stone Lantern Games, published by PQube, released November 10th on Xbox One and Series X and S for $9.99. Wield your soul flame, unleash extraordinary powers, and dive into the touching story of two kindred spirits. Guide the childlike soul Key on a journey through the beautiful and haunting afterlife in this unique 2D puzzle platformer. Cole, tell us about Evergate.
So, number one, lied to me because she was like, oh, it's a little bit like Ori and the Blind Forest, right? And what she meant was it had some platforming. And then nothing else about Evergate is like Ori and the Blind Forest. You do play as a little spirit named Key, and basically they are in the afterlife. Some shit has gone sideways, and it is up to Key to right all the wrongs. It's a platform. Nobody's paying attention to the story here. I will say, I do think it's impressive. They put a lot of effort into it, and I felt bad, but I was just like, I just want to jump on platforms. I don't need all this. But I did like the character models and some of the little comments that they snuck in there into the NPC dialogue. I made sure I talked to everybody because that was an achievement. And I did that on accident. I just have a habit of talking to every NPC I come across. But I chatted with everybody, and I was like, I may not have a firm grasp on the entire aspect of the story here, but at least I've got an understanding that these guys are adorable. Although they're all dead, and some of them are kind of sad. The entire purpose of the game, though, is the platforming aspect. It's a little different than what I was expecting. And I can understand why when number one played this on her Switch Lite, she was like, this was really hard to see on a tiny screen. Because holy fuck, even on a big screen, it was kind of hard to see. Key is super tiny in this world. Okay? And this is not a platformer as to like, hey, there are some platforms and you are going to jump on them. This is a platformer in the sense of, hey, there are some crystals scattered around and you have to shoot them with your soul flame to launch yourself. I was not at all prepared for the actual gameplay. I played the prologue, the tutorial section, and I was still not prepared when it was like, the tutorial's like, hey, okay, press A to jump. Hold A to jump further. And I'm like, yes, platformer. I know how to do this. And then I get into chapter 1, section 1, and it's just like, good luck. And there are no platforms. There's just all these gems everywhere. And I'm like, I don't understand what you want me to do here.
Yeah.
And then number one walked by and she was like, oh, you have to shoot them. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is a platformer. I'm so frustrated. I when she said that she wished it held your hand more, I was like, okay, she just wants it to show her the buttons or inputs or something. No, this could straight up do with preparing you for the actual game. I did have a good time with it once I figured it out. And I will point out that number one was really pissed that I found the invincibility mode and she did not. Because there are, hallelujah, assist mode settings. They're not flawless. They don't necessarily make it easier to beat the levels, but they do help in some ways. Particularly invincibility. I don't die to a fucking spike one. I just walk over them, and she's just sitting over here throwing her hands in the air like, this isn't fair. I was like, I don't know what she's talking about. I beat it in 7 seconds. Bitch, I'm out. It was a good time to compare my experience to hers, and she wasn't happy. But yeah, you can turn on assist mode. You can turn on things like invincibility. You can control, like, make some adjustments to the way that shooting the soul flame works. I had mine set up to where it was almost kind of like a twin stick shooter when I was done with it, even with the platforming elements. And still, it was stupid hard. There were still times where it would take me 15, 20 tries to get through a level. And eventually, I would just shrug and go, I'm not getting these fucking gems, and just book it for the door and go to the next one. As you progress through the game too, as platformers are wont to do. It gets a little more difficult. They add in some extra elements. Some of the later levels that I was running into had like these fire emblems you had to hit to set off some Chinese dragons that would start them burning and moving along, which would then hit something and start off another set of dragons, and then there were boxes to raise with the fire, and it got complicated. I wasn't prepared for all this. I thought I was getting a platformer. Number one prepared me almost as poorly as the tutorial did. Almost.
Yeah, I was not expecting what this game turned out to be. I was expecting something definitely closer along the lines of Ori, like, you know, you mentioned, and just the gameplay, it threw me off so hard when I finally got into it, and I'm like, what the hell is this game? I am so bad at this.
It's hard too, even like I said, even with the assist mode settings. And it was funny because I was immediately like, oh, the assist mode. And I was telling somebody on Discord, I was like, the assist mode doesn't stop you from getting achievements. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, it's still not going to be easy. No. Don't think you're doing anything with assist mode. Get the fuck out of here. It's not going to help you. It's not Celeste, okay? No. It's not trying to hold your hand. It's trying to shove you into the void.
Well, overall, $10. What do you think?
I think for $10, it's a good game. It's a good $10 game. I think it's a good platformer-ish game, but it's so hard. And that makes it a little more difficult to just be like, yeah, you should grab this, because it's if you're playing on a small screen, fuck you. And if you're if you're not good at like balancing off of gemstones and solving puzzles in a precise order, you're kind of fucked. The difficulty, the lack of explanation of how to play it, it makes me more inclined to give it a try it, whereas I really wanted to give it a buy it.
No. And like, it is pretty on the X. It is gorgeous.
I mean, based on aesthetics and fuck, I don't even remember what else I was going to say. I had like a list of 3 things I was going to say and it just lost me. Like, I want to say, hey, yeah, this is really cool and you should buy it. But man, that difficulty, even with assist mode, still makes it really hard too.
Moving on, next game to talk about is Persephone, developed and published by Momo-pi Game Studios, released November 6th on Xbox One for $7.29. Interesting price. What if death isn't the end, but the key to solve puzzles? Where, when, and how will you choose to die in order to progress? Transport yourself to this magical world enriched with beautiful graphics and captivating music. Oh, what is Persephone?
So this is a puzzle game. This is an isometric type of layout, and it reminds me, I was originally going to say it reminded me of Qbert in some ways, but also, God, what was that Mighty Studios game with the apples? Fuck, I can't remember the name of it now. Anyway, you have a grid layout. There are some obstacles in your path, but basically you want to get from circle A to circle B, and you want to guide Persephone over there.
Island Garden.
Yes, that one. Thank you.
Island Garden Defense.
Yes.
Island.
I knew, I couldn't remember the name to save myself, but I knew it in my head. I could see it. Doesn't help anybody else. But unfortunately, there are obstacles in your way. Normally, those obstacles are in the form of holes with spikes. That's unfortunate. But what's more unfortunate is that you can't be afraid of death. You just kind of have to embrace it, and you have to go, hey, there's some spikes in my way. Nothing left for me to do but fall on them and die. And then you respawn, and your body's still there, and you can walk across your body. It's kind of morbid.
A little.
By a lot. But you have infinite numbers of lives, and you're just going to be able to roll through it and fuck up as many times as you want, to an extent. Some of the later puzzles, if you fuck up and you got too many bodies laying around, you ain't going where you need to go. But other than just, hey, there's too many bodies laying around, there's not any real punishment for death. You're expected to die. You're expected to carry on and get through the levels. There are different characters that you unlock, but I'm just going to go ahead and admit this right now. I suck. I thought I was doing really well. And then I was like, I'm not getting anywhere. I've done like 17 puzzles and I haven't made it to a boss fight. I haven't unlocked anybody else. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just dying repeatedly to things shooting me out of the wall and falling over spikes, but I'm pushing around boxes and I'm kind of happy to do it. It's one of those puzzle games that I very definitely need a guide. And there were some out there, but they were video guides, and I just want somebody to like make me a text guide that says up, left, down, right, so that I could be happy and just kind of mindlessly do it. Because this was hard, and I was not as good as I wanted to be at solving some of these puzzles. There were a couple times where I would just have to shut it off and go play something else, and then come back a couple hours later and beat it first try. And I was like, man, that's rough. That I get so frustrated at such an adorable little puzzle game that, you know, it's a mobile game port. It's not like life altering as far as puzzle games go. It's not a negative thing either, but like, man, it was hard. And it was far harder than I was expecting.
Well, $7. What do you think?
I think the difficulty could be a put off for some people. But other than that, I think it's really creative. I think it's kind of fun. I think it's a little charming that it just kind of like, it wants you to die. It's so adorable and so inviting looking, but it wants you to die. And I am on board for that. So I'm going to roll with a pretty recommended try it. Just, you know, don't be afraid to look for a guide for some of these puzzles because they're tough.
No. All right. Well, next game is 50 Years, developed by Aleksandr Golovkin, published by God, I'm gonna fuck up the name.
Do it.
Xitilon.
Close enough for me. I have no idea.
They're gonna listen and they're gonna laugh at me. Released November 11th on Xbox One for $4.99. 50 Years is a fast-paced alternative to the bigger, longer turn-based strategy games. You can win or lose a game in a single evening. Either way, you'll want to play it again. You talk about this while I go check on why my cats are hissing at each other. So I'll be right back.
They got a mouse. Okay, so 50 Years. I expected so much more out of this game than what it was. And that sounds like a really rough way to start the game review, but it's really not as bad as it sounds. When I launched it, no tutorial. This is clearly the week of games not telling me how to play them, and I don't have time for that shit. So I had to kind of just fumble into 50 Years blind. And initially, that seemed problematic. And then somehow, magically, I just kind of clicked with it. And the problem was I was expecting so much more out of it. But you basically just have a static screen with a village in the background. And then there is a menu on the left. And you can buy buildings and have them constructed, which you don't ever see. Or you can hire different classes of combat. I do know he left. He told me, Aki, to continue with it even though he was gone.
But I'm back now.
Goodness. You see who's not actually paying attention around here. Anyway, but yeah, you can either construct buildings, which you don't ever see the buildings because you just have the one static screen in the back for everything except for the combat, which I'll get to in a minute. And then you can go and see the map. You don't have any control over exploring the map. It just kind of happens over the years. Everything is year-based, so your peasants mine your gold, and your swordsmen just protect your shit. That's how you start off with. And I died very quickly because I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I was just like, let's keep buying more peasants and more swordsmen. And then eventually a unicorn just comes out of the forest and fucks my world. But before the unicorn fucked my world, You know what else come out of the forest? A zombie chicken. It's a devil zombie chicken. And the zombie devil chicken gives you 3 choices. Either... Fuck, I forget what the first one is. Anyway, it'll do some shit for you. 2 of them are good for you, but you have to trade your soul in for them. And the third is you send chicken away and you don't get any kind of reward for you don't get its help. Man. The second one is that it will automatically kill an enemy in a fight. One enemy at random, whenever you go into battle, will be killed. But at the end of the game, at the end of the 50 years, the chicken takes your soul. And you become a zombie chicken. Fuck, I can't remember what the other one was. Fuck. Anyway, zombie chicken. I always recommend... I have no idea what happens if you win on a positive note without the chicken's help. Because I was a bitch and I always just had the chicken kill somebody on the other side for me.
Nice.
Because that saves you money. And because you're not having to hire new people to replace the ones that die whenever you get into battles over stupid shit. But yeah, again, 2 screens. One at the beginning has your menus and shit, hire people, and construct buildings. You don't ever see the buildings, but in the menu, you can, if you've got enough gold, for example, you can get a monastery, and then you get more faith, and then you build bigger monasteries, and then you can hire, like, paladins, or even angels, if you can build a sky city. I never get that rich. I don't know who the fuck does. Still manage to get angels other ways, though, so it's fine. As you get enough faith, as you level up, and you pass the years by, if you're not getting fucked up too bad, you get to pick from different skill trees. These can give you different options too. One, for example, made my druids, whenever they were going to die, they would transform into a tiger. And then the other team just gets fucked up by a tiger, which is great. That's always a good thing. I'm very pro tiger. I even had one where at one point, if I was going to die, 9 tigers would come out of the forest. And
nice.
Game saved. Hooray for tigers. Other ones were your chicken farms would do better and you'd have more food, or you would get more lumber because you had better trained people. It gave you several options. The first couple times I played it, again, because there's no tutorial at all to explain anything to you, I always assumed I had to follow the same skill tree and only pick skills from whichever one I chose first. That's not true. You can just click around, pick whichever ones you want, as long as you have its prerequisite unlocked. I did far better once I figured that out, when I was just brave enough to go, what happens if I pick one from them all? And at that point I was like, yep, I'm a genius. And then I beat the game. Very easy completion. Talks about you can sit down and play it in an afternoon. You can sit down and play it in like 10 minutes.
Maybe not that quick.
Maybe not. Well, you're going to die if you go into it that quick, which is fine. Because at that point, you're basically clicking end year over and over just to keep going, and then you don't have any troops, and then you get fucked up.
I want to say I spent like a half hour and I made it to year like 37, and then I decided, let me go into this cave, and it's a mirror cave where my own troops were against me, and for some reason they were significantly stronger than me.
Oof.
And I got wiped.
Oof. That's bad.
Yeah.
I don't know what a solution for that would be.
Not go into that cave. No. That is the solution I came to.
Just always avoid the mirror cave.
Yeah, if I get the urge to go back into the game and get back up to year 37, not going into that cave again.
You know that you don't have to go into it immediately when it pops up, right? Like,
I know.
You can wait and go into it later. Oh, okay. Okay, good.
Yeah, I just fuck up.
Just avoid it completely.
Yeah.
You don't need the 2 chickens or whatever the fuck it was going to give you. At year 37, like, you didn't have any supernatural stuff yet, did you?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's your problem. You got to get that shit quick and early. Also archers, because they will save your ass every time. But the best part is, like, when you're sitting in a full army of tigers and unicorns to just fuck up whatever's on the other side. That's great. The graphics, the combat is the only time like there's any kind of animation and actual graphics going on. And I'm just gonna be really honest here. It's kind of bad. It's not the best looking thing I've ever seen. But I will be honest about this as well. I was sad I was done with it so quickly. I was like, man, I wish it had taken me a little more to get the achievement, so I had some justification to sit down and just try some different scenarios. I went through it too fast. I think it was the third or fourth time through that I finally like had a strategy that worked. And then I was just kind of bummed. I was like, yeah, I already knocked it out. Now, might as well go on.
The good news is Xitilon has been updating some of their games with new, easier achievements and more achievements. So we might see an update to 50 years to add a couple of more achievement points. We'll see.
I did like the simplicity of the game, though. I am 100% down for some shit that just lets me go through some menus and be done with it. And at first I was a little put off. I was like, the static village background is it. But then I kind of just came to accept it. Like, there's nothing cluttering your view. It's all just right there. And it's just go through it, get what you want, and see the outcome of it. And I really started to appreciate that.
Yeah, I enjoy the simplicity. And best of all, it's only $5. So what do you say?
You know, in a lot of situations, I'd say, fuck it, why not? But I think it stands. It stands up on its own enough to be a buy it. It's just, don't be expecting top-notch graphics for a $5 game.
I think it's pretty enough.
It's pretty enough. The combat scenes are kind of.
Yeah.
But other than that, everything else is fine. It holds up. Cool.
Yeah. Final game to talk about tonight is called sig.NULL, developed and published by Half Face Games, released November 11th on Xbox One for $4.99. Smarter than regular Sokoban, explore abilities of your drones to place crates on their places, and it isn't so easy as you think. Step by step, learn the rules of dark cybernetic world to solve 100 plus unique challenges. Oh, what is sig.NULL?
What is this fucking week with games that don't want to tell me how to play them? Either it's simulated amnesia or it's forced amnesia, because we ain't telling you shit. You don't know a damn thing about this game. And sig.NULL is just like, well, congrats, you plugged in a controller. Let's see what you can do. And it doesn't tell you jack all else. Like there's a little tiny tutorial section. It's like, push the buttons. And you're like, okay, I pushed the buttons. And it's like, see the thing you did? No. No, I don't. And I had beat 2 levels of the game before I figured out what I was actually pushing to make what happen. Have you ever done that? You're just like beating a game and you're like,
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
It worked. I was just like up, left, right, left. I finished it. Cool. I didn't even figure out where the other drone was. So sig.NULL is one of those that's like, it's incredibly simple in its concept, but they've...
Yeah, your bunny's losing its shit right now.
Sure. Now it's not the time to rearrange your home. That is 100% what he's doing. He's moving his box to the other side.
Nice.
But he's like got it on his head. I don't know what the fuck he thinks he's going to accomplish here. We use the phrase bird brain. Maybe we should use the phrase bunny brain. They're not the smartest creatures. But anyway, back to the game. I'm not the smartest creature. This game made me feel like a fucking dumbass. I had a guide telling me what to do and I still couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, it's not a very intuitive game.
Mm-mm. I still haven't figured out how to make it switch. Like the guide said, switch this. And I'm like, I don't know what that is or how to switch it. And there's never a controller input to tell you how to switch things.
I figure it's just the A button that turns the thing. I don't.
Maybe, but it wasn't fucking working. I was just sitting there like, I was so frustrated. And like, I'm beating the levels in the very beginning. And I'm still even not sure how they're working, even with a guide telling me what to do. I'm like, I don't understand how any of this flies. The logic of the game is just not there for me. And it should be, because I've played games like this before. Like, I know the basics, and I'm still confused. And that's a bit of a shame. Like, it's a solid game, but it's also so cluttered and lacking in information that it just makes it more frustrating than fun for me. I'm sure there are plenty of people who play this and are like, she's just stupid. And maybe. I take a lot of Vicodin, it's possible. But I just couldn't get the hang of Signal, and I feel bad about it. Because I feel like I can't give it a fair shake because it didn't give me a fair shake.
It's a weird one. I couldn't really grasp what the hell I was doing. I got all the achievements in the game, but I still
You're doing better than me.
I still don't really understand what I was doing. It's one of those games where you can get all the achievements really quickly, but there's still a shitload of game after it that you can play. It's just really confusing, and yeah. I don't really get most of it. But it is only $5. It's easy achievements. What do you say?
With a guide, I'm going to go fuck it, why not? If you want some easy achievements, if you want to actually sit down and figure this out the old-fashioned way, you're probably going to be in for a tough time.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I can roll with that. But yeah, that's it for tonight.
Woo!
Woo!
We did it. What? It's only 10:34.
I like when we have shorter ones. So
yeah,
they don't all need to be 3.5 hour epics.
I mean, most of them can't be. That's okay. Wait, see if we get Call of Duty this week and see what happens.
Oh, Lord. Now that you say it, we're not going to get it. You jinxed it.
I jinxed
not
it.
Not happening now. But you know what is going to happen? We're going to play some Viking guitar. How's that sound?
Okay.
Cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.